of the distros that I've been using for the past like month or close to 2 months now, I would say, is a CACHYOS OS. A lot of people have been asking that I should, try it out, see how it goes, and whenever I'm talking about other distros, they're always like, I'm using CACHYOS OS, and I really like it. I really do enjoy using it, and I was like, well, I should give it a shot. I should, install it. I should check out the theme that is provided for CACHYOS OS, why people like using it, what features it provides in the distro that makes it so popular and rather unique. So this is going to be my review of CACHYOS OS. So if we do look at CACHYOS OS website, you can see here it says blazing fast and customizable Linux distribution. CACHYOS OS is designed to deliver lightning fast speeds and stability, ensuring a smooth and enjoyable computing experience every time you use it. Whether you're a seasoned Linux user or just starting out, CACHYOS OS is the ideal choice for those looking for a powerful, customizable, and blazingly fast operating system. Now, I would say that this I agree with most of the things that are being said in here. It delivers a lightning fast speed and stability. When it comes to stability, I would say that this distro is, it's an Arch-based distro, so really stability isn't really a thing. It's more like, if the issue appears, an issue appears and you have to wait for that to be fixed because you're on a rolling based distro. So I wouldn't say stability is, perfect. It's no Linux Mint, it's no LTS distro, but it does provide a decent amount of stability, but it is an Arch based system. So something can break when you're rolling and you're constantly updating packages throughout the couple of weeks, months, years, however long you use CACHYOS OS. And ensuring a smooth and enjoyable computing experience every time you use it. Yeah, it's true. It does provide a smooth and enjoyable computing experience. And it does say here, whether you're a seasoned Linux user or just starting out, that's true. If you're a veteran in Linux use and you're being like an Arch user, then this distro, it would be perfectly fine for you. If you just want to install it on a system really quickly, that can definitely do the job. Or if you're a complete noob, I would say that this distro, you can definitely start out on this distro as a noob-ish Arch-based distro. It definitely can be used for that. Versus something like Endeavour OS, where you're mostly touching the terminal. On here, it does provide like a GUI package manager for installing system packages, and I'm pretty sure it includes Discover by default. I'm not sure by that. I think I installed Discover manually by myself, but it does have like a GUI package manager so that you're not always in the terminal trying to install things or can change things in specific config files, etc., etc. And in the end, CACHYOS OS is that the ideal choice for those looking for a powerful, customizable, and blazing fast operating system, which, true, it is a rather powerful operating system. It's Arch-based, but it's kind of like on steroids, and that's what the thumbnail is for this video, because it kind of is like on steroids based on what is included, which I'll go over shortly. But if we do have a look at the About section, this is where it will show, who runs CACHYOS OS. If we have a read through here, it says CACHYOS OS is a user-friendly, highly optimized distribution based on Arch Linux. Our distribution offers a seamless installation process and a range of customization options to personalize your computing experience, whether you're a beginner or an experienced user. CACHYOS OS delivers optimized performance while maintaining its simplicity. So if we do scroll down here, we can meet the team. The founder here is Peter Jung. I do see him a lot around in the CACHYOS OS forums. He's mostly like updating the repos, I'm pretty sure. And then we also have another founder, which is Vlad. I don't even know how to say that name. But he also is a founder, so he probably does a lot of things with CACHYOS OS, so it helps Peter Jung out. And then we also have another user here, which I'm not going to pronounce that either, and he is the kernel maintainer, and he's a university lecturer from Poland, which is pretty unique, and that means that he has high standards when it comes to a distribution, I guess, because he's at a university and he lectures people. That's pretty important, I would say. And then there's a a bunch of contributors also, which you can see here. There is a lot. So someone for the ball scheduler, which I'll talk about very soon. It is, it was contributed by this guy. The website and builder dashboard, it was by this person. The contributor, the wiki, the documentation, the tutorials, which is a very, I would say, annoying thing to do, to write a wiki, to write documentation, to do tutorials. That's all rather boring stuff. This person did do that, so thank you to that person who actually did the work. And then right here, the Nvidia settings, the CACHYOS settings, the ARU. This person did that, and same with the GFX and art. This person did that. So really good to see there is tons of contributors when it comes to CACHYOS also. So you may be wondering, what does CACHYOS offer that other distros don't? Well, if we do scroll down here, it says the features, discover the benefits of CACHYOS, experiencing cutting-edge Linux performance with CACHYOS, a distribution built on Arch Linux. CACHYOS features the optimized Linux CACHYOS kernel, utilizing the advanced ball scheduler for unparalleled performance. So the first one is enhance your performance with optimized packages. CACHYOS does compile packages with x86-64v3, x86-64v4, and Zen 4 instruction set and LTO to provide a higher performance. Core packages also get PGO and bolt optimization. Now, when it comes to what the hell does that even mean? Well, if we do search up, like, I don't know, Zen 4 instruction set. So if we do ask a AI model, which is Llama 3.1, and we ask, what is LTO? And it says here, LTO stands for link time optimization. In the context of the Linux kernel compilation, LTO is a technique used to optimize compiled code. It is a method that reorders and optimizes the generated machine code at link time rather than during compilation. This allows for more aggressive optimizations to be performed on the final linked executable or shared library. So the benefits is that it is improved performance by optimizing the final linked code. LTO can lead to significant improvements in execution speed, reduced binary size. LTO can also help reduce the size of the generated executable or shared library, enhance security. The optimized code may be more resistant to certain types of attacks. So when we include the Zen 4 instruction set and LTO, this does provide a rather high performance. And Zen 4 instruction set is probably just a bunch of different patches and lines of code that get compiled with the Linux kernel to improve performance on Zen 4 CPUs. Alright, and then the last one is PGO or bolt optimization in the core packages. And you may be thinking, well, what the hell is that? Well, if you do ask Llama again about what bolt and PGO is, if we look at bolt, it is it says here, it's a fascinating topic. I mean, I guess it is if you're a developer. Bolt stands for binary offset tracking, which is a technique used in the Linux kernel to improve code organization, maintainability, and debugging. What is bolt? It's binary offset tracking. Bolt is an extension of the Linux kernel's existing offset tracking mechanism. It provides additional information about binary offsets within a compiled executable or shared library. This information is stored in the ELF executable in linkable format file header. And then if you look at the benefits of Bolt, it is improved debugging by providing precise offset information. Bolt enables faster and more accurate debugging. Enhanced code analysis tools can leverage the Bolt metadata for code review, optimization, or reverse engineering. Simplified code navigation. The detailed offset tracking simplifies navigation through complex code bases. And then if we look at PGO, PGO stands for Profile Guided Optimization, which is a technique used to optimize compiled code by guiding the optimizer based on the profile data. And if we look at the benefits, it improves performance by optimizing code based on actual usage patterns. PGO can lead to significant performance improvements, increased code efficiency. PGO helps eliminate unnecessary code regions, making the compiled, executable, or shared library more efficient. Better code maintainability. The optimized code is easier to understand and maintain as it is tailored to the specific usage patterns of the program. So when it comes to these enhancements, they're mostly made towards the the compiled packages that you get. They will be compiled better with the certain code they're compiling to create like executables and such, and you'll just get better stability, better performance, and better security. If you have a look at some of the other stuff, power up your computing with robust kernel support. CACHYOS utilizes the ball scheduler for better interactivity activity, and offers a variety of scheduler options including EEVDF, the Schedule EXT, Echo, and RT. All kernels are compiled with optimized x86-64v3, x86-64v4, and Zen 4 instructions, and LTO to be optimized for your CPU. So when it comes to actually using the CACHYOS kernel, it is pretty good. We do have a kernel manager that you can open here. I'm pretty sure I don't have it pinned currently. If I go kernel, CACHYOS kernel manager, if we open that up, we can have a look here of all the kernels that you can install with different schedulers. Now, by default, it's just going to install the normal CACHYOS Linux kernel, which is 6.10.5-2 right now. But for me, I'm using the Bohr version because I want to use the Bohr scheduler, which I'll talk about soon, that improves performance in some areas of when you're playing different games. Either it be, I'm pretty sure it's like CPU dependent games mostly will improve this scheduler that you're using. And there is, like I said before, there is other kernels. So you can grab the LTS kernel, LTO, hardened, EEVDF, Echo, Decify, which Decify, I'm guessing that's for the Steam Deck. There's the RT Bohr, there's the server version. And just it does offer a lot of choices when it comes to, you know, the ease of use of grabbing the kernels, because it's just in this kernel manager, and the fact that there's so many options to choose from depending on your use case. And then you can choose your ideal desktop environment. So CACHYOS offers a variety of popular desktop environments including KDE Plasma, GNOME, XFCE, i3, Wavefire, LXQT, OpenBox, Cinnamon, UKUI, I've never heard of that, LXDE, Mate, Budgie, Qtal, Hyperland, Sway, and you can select your preferred environment during the online installation process. And then there is a CACHYOS browser, which I don't have installed right now because, well, I don't really like using these custom Firefox browsers because, well, I have a Firefox account, so as soon as I grab my Firefox account, it's going to bring in the extensions that I have, which I do have a lot of extensions when it comes to, like the consent one, which will just automatically like consent things when you read your website correctly, clear URLs, dark reader, and I'm pretty sure I've got uBlock here also to, you know, block ads on certain websites. But I know that the CACHYOS browser does include some of those extensions automatically, and that it's just a branded version of Firefox basically with its own icon. And it does say here that it does have patches from the LibreWolf browser. So when it comes to security and performance and all that stuff, it's a top tier browser, I would say. But for me personally, I'm just going to use the Firefox browser, sign into my Firefox account. It's just going to bring in my bookmarks, my history, my extensions, and I'll be, you know, all set for that. And there is two decisions that you can choose when it comes to the installation process. So you can go through the GUI version, which is probably what most people would do, but you can go through a CLI based option also. And most important thing, if you do enjoy using CACHYOS, you really do enjoy what they're doing, what they're improving, I would 100% go and donate to CACHYOS so that, you know, they can continue maintaining this distro and they can continue bringing out awesome updates and using these type of core package improvements, optimizations, the Bohr scheduler, all that to just improve your experience when using CACHYOS. And then, like I said before, with the contributors, there is a wiki and a forum. So if you do have problems, there is you know, plenty of options that you can choose from, like you're getting started, how CACHYOS improves performance, the installation guides. You can go through here. You can look through the system requirements, preparing for installation, downloading the image, creating a bootable CACHYOS USB device. It goes through all of this to get you started to flash CACHYOS to installing it on your main PC. And when it comes to what else is included in CACHYOS, there is the CACHYOS Hello. This will come up when you first install CACHYOS, and you can look here, then you can go to documentation, you go README, release info, the wiki, the support for the forum, the software, the project, get involved, development, donate. You can install some applications through here, which I personally wouldn't go through this because I'm pretty sure it's going to grab probably specific package managers that I don't want to use. I mostly just use Flatpak for the majority of things. I install sometimes system packages for particular applications like Discord or Steam, for example, because I want to use the latest Mesa version from CACHYOS/Arch. And then there is a app/tweaks button. So if we do click on here, we can enable some things. If we do have a look at the tweak section here, there is one that is enabled right now for me, which is called Annecy CPP. So I don't really know what this does, but if we do ask Llama, for example, and we say, you know, what is this in Linux term, it is a Linux kernel feature that helps detect and mitigate contention points in the kernel's execution flow. It was introduced with the Linux 5.3 kernel release. In a concurrent system, contention points refer to regions of code where multiple threads or processes compete for shared resources, leading to synchronization, overhead, locking, and potential performance bottlenecks. What this does is use a profiling mechanism to identify these contention points in the kernel's execution flow. It collects data on the frequency and duration of lock holds, as well as the number of threads waiting for locks. So that's a pretty cool tweak that is automatically enabled on CACHYOS, and I guess that just, you know, that improves the overhead and it's able to look at everything more properly, and so that, you know, there is no potential performance bottlenecks. And if we have a look at some of the other ones, like what is BPF tune, we can see here, if we do scroll down again, we have a look. It's a tool for tuning and profiling the Linux kernel's Berkeley packet filter subsystem. It is a Linux kernel feature that allows user-space applications to inspect and manipulate network packets in real time. It provides a powerful way to analyze, filter, and process network traffic. It's a tool for tuning and profiling the BPF subsystem. It helps developers optimize BPF programs for performance, scalability, and resource usage. So that's also another pretty cool tweak that you can enable if you do want to use that. And the other one is systemd OOMD. If we do scroll down here to see what that is, it helps you manage and mitigate out of memory conditions, which I might enable this because reading this, it seems like a pretty cool thing. It basically tries to stop out of memory that occurs. So out of memory occurs when the system runs out of memory, causing processes to be terminated abruptly. This can lead to crashes, freezes, or even complete system failures. It's a Linux kernel feature that helps manage and mitigate OOM conditions. It was introduced in Linux kernel 5.4 kernel release. It introduces a OOM killer mechanism which selects processes to be terminated when the system runs out of memory. Each process is assigned a score based on its priority and resource usage, helping the OOM killer choose the least critical process to terminate. And it also provides notifications and alerts when an OOM is terminated, I'm pretty sure. So that's a pretty cool one. And the last one is Profile Sync Daemon. And then that is basically that it helps synchronize user profiles across multiple sessions, which includes something like desktop environments, window managers, terminal emulators. So that's pretty cool when it comes to the tweaks that we have here that we can enable. They actually are pretty useful for different use cases, depending on the user that you are and what you want to do. But if we do have a look at some of the fixes that are here as well, we can do system update, reinstall all packages, refresh the key rings, remove DB lock, clear package cache, remove orphans, installing gaming packages, installing snapper support, ranking your mirrors for like Arch mirrors when you're downloading packages to get the fast enough, you know, download when you want to do a update. You can also show the K1 Wayland debug window also, so if you want to, I guess, just look at the Wayland compositor and see what it's doing, if there's any issues that occur, you can launch that and debug it. You can also change the DNS server from here if you want to, and then install a spoof DPI. And then the other two buttons are all already the applications that I showed you before, like the kernel manager and then the package installer, which it was very similar to the one before that I showed you about like installing some applications, but this one's just more laid out for you, so you can easily look at like the repos, popular applications, and then go to the console output when you're installing a application. Now, this is not what CACHYOS actually looks like by default. I have I forgot what the theme is called, but I have a theme applied over the top of this. If you haven't noticed, there is a default theme that is used in CACHYOS, which is called CACHYOS Nord. What I'm using is the Cat Pukin Mocha Teal theme. So if we do enable the CACHYOS Nord theme here, it looks pretty okay, I would say. Personally, I don't like it because, well, it's using an icon pack that is similar to what like Android uses, and the problem with this type of icon pack is that there isn't enough icons enabled. So you've got like bottles here, you've got this Discord application I'm using, Stremio, my NotesNook also is launched, and as you can see, the icon pack hasn't applied the icons from that icon pack. So that's one of the problems with this type of icon pack. I personally don't like it, and also the applications are centered. So if we do apply this, we go desktop window layout, it will actually center everything. So you can see here, this is centered, and you can see here that the panel got smaller also, which I personally, that seems okay, I would say. And it has its own theme when it comes to like the plasma theme also, which is the Nord theme, I'm pretty sure. And it looks okay. It's just like, personally, I just like to keep it on the mocha teal one. So if we do apply this, and then we go to our icons here, and we just apply back the regular breeze theme, then it looks pretty okay. And then the other one is that it does include its own wallpapers. So if we just scroll past my wallpapers that I have here, and we scroll all the way down to the CACHYOS wallpapers, we do have a couple here, like the abstract one, which looks pretty not my favorite, I would say. I like blue feathers. I would say that looks pretty clean, I would say. There is some anime theme ones, like this Neko lady. Personally, I don't like this, but you may like it. That's perfectly fine if you do. There's lines, there's liquid, there's green feathers, dimensions, and there's different colors of that lady also. There's like a pink version, a red version, a green version, a blue version, an aqua version. There's Spectrum also, which I do like. This looks pretty nice. Skyscraper, which is the one you're seeing on the website, and that looks pretty alright. There's also Splash, which looks pretty okay also. And then there is Screen Hot, which is like the blue one, but it's green. So I would say, last one, Purple Feathers. That looks pretty okay. Paper also, that looks pretty okay. Orange feathers, that looks pretty okay. So I would say these wallpapers are pretty alright. They're pretty good for stock wallpapers. I wouldn't use them personally. I like to just grab wallpapers from Wallhaven, and they look pretty damn good when you upscale them. So that's what I do. But CACHYOS does provide some nice wallpapers. So one of the things that separates CACHYOS from Arch is it has its own repositories that they maintain. So this is where, you've got like those custom kernels that they have running, those custom packages when it comes to particular like KD Plasma patches. I know that they backport a decent amount of patches that aren't in normal KD Plasma right now. One is like screen tearing. They backported that on KD Plasma in the CACHYOS distro to introduce screen tearing on Wayland, which I think works. I can't really see screen tearing that much, even though I go over my FPS, over my refresh rate a lot. But that was backported, and I'm pretty sure screen tearing won't be available till kernel 6.12 for the actual like API to be ready for used for Wayland screen tearing, and then you'll actually get screen tearing across the board on KD Plasma in 6.2. But it is backported on CACHYOS, and this is where it shows other things where they like to just backport a lot of patches that aren't ready yet, or they're just like experimental things that can improve things and they think are stable on the distro right now. Like screen tearing, it works like perfectly fine. I haven't had any issues, and I can detect when like screen tearing is working. Is like when you jump into a game, for example, that's running full screen, your FPS will be a little bit weird, and then it will like figure out like what if you want screen tearing on or off, and then when it sees that screen tearing is on, then the FPS just acts normal. It actually just goes back to the way it was before. But it's just whenever you go into a game, you can see the frame timing and the FPS is a bit weird, and then it like gives it like a second or two, and then it figures out that like screen tearing needs to be enabled, and then the FPS goes back to normal. But back to the other thing, since the CACHYOS is running its own repos, that means that they like to pull in their own packages. One that happened recently was Mesa 24.2 was released, and Mesa 24.2 is in the extra testing repo at the moment on Arch, so it's not ready. But CACHYOS decided to pull it in, which is perfectly fine. Mesa 24.2 is working no problem. I've been playing different games like the finals, for example. I played that today and I had no issues running under Mesa 24.2. Or I have been playing Deadlock also, which is, Valve's next game, even though not really supposed to talk about it. People are talking about it and showing off gameplay and all that. And there's a shortcut on my desktop or the top left that you can see. That's another game that I've been playing on Mesa 24.2, and there's been no problems with it. So if we do open up our console here, we're going to have to search for it. Since I reset my Plasma theme, we can see my fast fetch, which looks very interesting with my own face, which is kind of like the rock thing stare, which is, just a funny thing that my friends and I have about with an emote that I have, which is this one. But if we do a update here, we can see that it is running its own repos. It's got the CACHYOS OS and ZN version 4, the CACHYOS OS core ZN4, the ZN ver4, the CACHYOS OS extra ZN ver4, and then the CACHYOS OS, and then there's the core extra and multi-lib. So they keep the normal Arch repositories enabled, but they keep them underneath so that CACHYOS OS packages go over the top of it, so then you don't have any like compatibility problems with particular packages that want to get overwritten on the Arch repos. Now, one of the other cool things about CACHYOS OS is when it comes to installing drivers, particularly with the Nvidia drivers, it's pretty neat how CACHYOS OS does it. If we do Paru and we do Nvidia, it will probably show here the packages that you can install. So if you have a look here, they use the Linux kernel and then they combine it with the Nvidia driver binary. So you have basically just a normal package. So instead of downloading each Nvidia package, you can just install the particular kernel version and it will install that version of the driver. So you see here, we can grab the 560.31.02 driver at the moment, which is in beta, I'm pretty sure. I don't think that's out fully, but if we can just select this version, then it will just install it like a regular package. It will update the Linux kernel, and then you can just easily boot into it and the Nvidia drivers will be installed. Now, I'm pretty sure you do have to install some of the other packages like the lib32 version if you want that, or the lib32 Nvidia utils, so that certain games that run like launches or whatever and still use 32-bit binaries and stuff like that can work properly. But it's really cool that you can just like install, like if you have a like a Decify Nvidia, you can install that version. You can whatever kernel you're running, you can just grab that package and it will install the Nvidia drivers instantly for you without really any issues that I've had when it comes to like installing my RTX 2060. I installed that package, and it was done. It was installed. There was nothing really else required for me to do to install the Nvidia drivers. Now, I guess one of the good things about CACHYOS OS is that it does include a package GUI manager, which I think I did talk about it in the start of the video. If you have a look here, it is pinned to my taskbar, and it's called Octopi, which you can install on any Arch-based distro. So it's not like this is exclusive to CACHYOS OS. You can grab this on Endeavour OS or just vanilla Arch, and it does work quite well. I would recommend it if you are someone who doesn't want to touch the terminal that much and you want to install system packages. If you don't want to go through the terminal, then this is the great option for you. You can easily find applications, type Steam, and then there's there's a bunch of applications here that you can grab. Like here's this one for Steam, or the Games Scope session. That's another package you can grab. Plenty of things. You want Firefox, and you search out Firefox, and then you can just install it really easily and remove or select different repos, file description. You can switch it from, I think it's like Pacman at the moment, and you can switch it to the Paru tool, which is a AY helper, which I do use in the terminal for installing packages. You can switch it over to Paru and then use that in Octopi, and you can even select particular groups for something. So if you want to install a specific desktop environment, you can grab Cosmic, for example. It will show all the packages for Cosmic, which I think is pretty neat. Probably the most important thing about CACHYOS OS is, well, what is the performance like on CACHYOS OS when it comes to gaming? Well, when it comes to gaming, it is pretty good. You do have this ball scheduler, which if you don't know what scheduler means, it's in the Linux kernel. It helps with processes running. It makes sure that things are running at a high enough level, at a high enough priority, you could say. And with the ball scheduler, it uses particular techniques to improve that even further from the regular scheduler. And this can improve gaming performance. So what I decided to do was I tested two different kernels. I tested the regular kernel that is provided by CACHYOS OS, and then I tried the ball scheduler version of that kernel to see if there were any improvements in particular games that I decided to test. So what I did is I launched these games. I used Mango HUD to record the FPS, and if we do look at some of them, like for example, we open up finals, and then we open up, let's say, the regular version, which should open up here. If we just have a quick look, we can have a look at the 0.1% min, the 1% min, the 97% percentile, the average, and then like the GPU load, etc. If we look at the average FPS, we can see on the regular kernel we get 202 FPS. So if we look at the ball one though, we get 192 2. So this is where, you know, I did a kernel benchmark video a couple months ago, and the ball scheduler didn't do quite that well in my opinion. It won in some scenarios, but it also lost in some. And I mean, this type of test, like I just went into training on the files and I just waved my gun around for like 30 seconds, and then that was the recording I got. So it's not like this is like a complex scenario that I'm running. It's very simple, and so these recordings can be not correct, and the ball scheduler might be better in better scenarios when you are playing the finals. But if you do look at the average, it's 202 versus 192. The 97th percentile is 231 versus 245, and then 1% means 85 versus 110. So I don't know if I really believe that, to be honest, with my recordings that I've got given. I've been using the ball scheduler and it has been working quite well when it comes to playing games, but I guess you could just use the regular kernel also and you would get a better performance. Most people who ask, you know, like, oh, what is the best kernel for gaming? It usually doesn't really matter. You can just use the stock kernel, but the ball scheduler probably will win in some scenarios if we do look at some other games here. So if we look at like Counter-Strike 2, for example, I just went to the back of one of the maps on a casual match, waved my gun around for another like 30 seconds, and we can see here that the average FPS was 351 versus on the regular kernel was 447. So that's a big difference, and I don't know why those recordings keep showing that. It is very odd, the behavior that I am seeing here, where it seems like the average FPS is a lot lower versus the regular kernel. If we have a look at the 97 percentile, 777 versus, we have a look here, 679. So again, the ball scheduler seems to be doing a weird job. I don't know why the recordings are showing that. If we open up Cyberpunk 2077, we have a look at the ball one, we look at the average FPS, 110. With the regular kernel, it's 110.6. So you can see here, there's not much of a difference. If we look at the 97 percentile, it's 140, while in the regular one, it's 138. And I guess one of the things that we can see is the utilization. So for like CS, for example, the GPU load is at 89% on the ball, while if we look at the regular one, it's at 94. So that might give you an idea as to why it's not doing a good job, where the GPU load is a bit lower, it seems. But if you have a look at Cyberpunk, it's perfectly fine. If we have a look at Overwatch, I guess, as well, Overwatch 2, if we have a look at the regular kernel, we can see an average FPS of 406, and we look at the ball, it's 343. So another time where it seems like the ball scheduler is doing something really weird here. I don't know why it's doing this necessarily. If we look at the GPU load, it's at 84 versus 79. So you can see that the GPU load is a bit less on the ball, and so we're getting less FPS in hand. If we look at the 97 percentiles, 478 versus the regular kernel, which is 533. So this is really weird. I would expect the ball scheduler to win in these scenarios, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Then the ball scheduler seems to be losing by a decent amount. That seems to be really odd that it is doing that. Now these were only a couple of games, and these recordings may be completely inaccurate because, like I said, I only did it for like 30 seconds, waved my gun around on a map, and then that was it. That was the benchmark that I did. I didn't do anything really extensive, except the Cyberpunk one. I actually did go through the benchmark mode. And that's why that gave a relatively similar recording. And I guess that's one of the things with multiplayer FPS games. These things can change quite a bit because some are like server side, and server side can differentiate FPS a lot, like the finals, for example. That's like all server sides. That's where the FPS can be a bit different, and I guess maybe similar to CS2. It really depends on what server you get put into and how the client works with the server. It's like how much FPS you get, and that can change differently depending on the map or the game or the server that you join. So if I did test regular campaign games, I bet the ball scheduler could keep up perfectly fine with the regular kernel and may even do a better job. So I guess I would like to know your thoughts about the ball scheduler, does it improve performance for you? Or do you not see any changes at all? Or do you see a decrease like I am seeing in some of these multiplayer FPS shooters? And when it comes to the issues with CACHYOS, there's basically none. I haven't experienced any issues with CACHYOS/Arch when it comes to updating it for like a month or two. I did have to reset CACHYOS, and it was because I mucked up my systemd bootloader, so I couldn't boot into CACHYOS, and I didn't know how to bring it back. So I had to reset CACHYOS and reinstall everything. But when it comes to installing CACHYOS, it's really quick and it's really simple. So I would say, there isn't any problems when it comes to installing it, when it comes to running it, when it comes to playing games, when it comes to its theme, its wiki, its forum, how you download it. The default theme they use is pretty alright. The features they present is really good. When it comes to repo updates, they seem to update really fast, which can run into some issues, but it seems like I haven't experienced any of the past issues of CACHYOS yet, where they've put out a bad update or something. None of that has happened, and there is some good developers who are running this distro and maintaining it. So that's my conclusion with CACHYOS. Would I recommend it to someone who's new to Linux? Yes, I would, because it's a Arch-based distro, but it's, it has a lot of things pre-installed for you. It has an easy GUI manager to install applications. You can install Discover also to then install Flatpak and install Flatpak applications. All that stuff is relatively simple nowadays, and when it comes to running this distro, it makes it really easy, and you don't have to install vanilla Arch, you don't have to install EndeavourOS, you can just install this and have an enjoyable time. And not just that, you can install this on Steam Deck. I know they have a Steam Deck ISO. You can install CACHYOS on a Steam Deck, and it seems to work pretty okay from my research that I've done about it. It does seem to do a pretty good job. So that does it for today's video. I want to thank my members who give me money every month. I really do appreciate that. I'll show a screenshot of them now. Thank you guys. Also, if you want to, you can subscribe to the channel. We are like, I don't know, over 5.5 thousand subscribers, I think, which is pretty awesome to see. And I guess that's the end of the video. I would like to know your thoughts about CACHYOS down below. Also, your experience when using CACHYOS in the past on a desktop PC or laptop or Steam Deck, whatever it may be. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.